So I'm back. It's after 2, so I'm just kick back, relaxing. This is me. Kick back, relaxing. I kick my feet up. I kick my feet up. Can you see? See? I kick my feet up on the hassock. And I'm just cooling down and relaxing. Yeah. It's been a busy day for me, but that's what some Father's Day time is like for me. When I decided to honor my dads and be in a good mood and fathers, because I got issues. I got issues, guys, when it comes on to Father's Day. Yeah, me and my kids have issues because I'm a single parent for the past. I have been a single parent for the past 20 odd years of my child rearing, child rearing um, time. Yes, that's a chapter in our lives that most of us are blessed to bring forth children. It's a handful, it's a hard job, it's a hard task, but some of us get that opportunity to experience that part in our journey of life. Today's surprise was, well, I decided to honor dads when that my uncle was working, my one of my husband's friend was working, and I'm like, but Father's Day tomorrow, what's happening? And they were sharing, that um, well, work, we have to work, and if a lot of people would understand that if dads are the breadwinners, or dads get the opportunity to work, since some dads don't work all the time, and you just gotta do what you gotta do, um, then women shouldn't be upset when they're not around to celebrate certain occasions with them. So I guess it's a learning experience for me too, because sometimes I would say, but it's Father's Day, dads need to spend some time with their family and whatever, whatever. But today, as I was setting up the tables and getting ready to share lunch and, play domino and take out time out with the people that is that was invited to come by me. And sweethearts, Master Man was there. And he was like, I said, do I know you? Were you invited? And I don't know, something zonked into my head and his face started to look familiar. I'm trying to figure out, why do I feel like I know this person? He's looking at me like, don't you know me? Don't you remember me? And I can't. And he can't. And both of us sitting there dumbstruck. What are you doing here? What happened to your kids for Father's Day? Because as I said, I am only honoring good fathers, good dads. I want to give a good incentive to, the ones who are trying and who are working towards making it good. We don't want to encourage the delinquent dads, give them rewards and big them up for not being a good parent. But this one was a surprise, and I said I had to share the story because when the Rasta man looked at me at the table, like he's looking me straight in the eye, and I'm staring at him, and I'm like, I know you from somewhere, I know you from somewhere. And same time, this me and say, he said, I have 2 daughters. I have 2 daughters. I said, 2 daughters today. What's happening for Father's Day? Why are you with me? I come out for a treat because I hear you're having it. I said, I said, you know me? He says, yes, from in the community. He says, he says, you know me? I said, yes, I know you. Because same time the Spirit to talk to me now to remember who this man is. And I said, you have 2 kids and your baby mother go to my Catholic church in the community. And he's like, yes, you remember me? And I said, what else I remembered? There was 12 years ago, this is over a decade years ago, my son was running away from home here in Little London, and you were the one along with another fellow, that came to my house and alerted me that you see my son running away from home and was trekking up the road, going all the way up to Delta and say he's going to his family because it's just him and his mom alone in this big of a house and he's running away. And you were the one that actually brought him back home to me. And I am grateful. And for that good deed you did 12 years ago for me and my family, I appreciate it. And look at that. The Spirit sent you here to me today to share in my Father's Day treat and celebration luncheon with good dads in the community. And it's things like that I say is a good dad. Yeah? Even though he was not your biological child, but you knew the person who my son belonged to. You knew it was my child. And I was there locked up in this big house. I don't know. When you came to me, I was like, no, man, my son into me, his bedroom. Is that my son? You was walking up the road. And when they say, yes, Chrissy, yes, and you go bring him back, then I got the wake-up call. And it's to show you that men are out there parenting other people's children too, and it's not just theirs. And I call that a good dad. And I just wanted to commend that some amazing things happen in this world and this life, some strange things. And you have some good people out there and you don't even know it because sometimes they might don't even talk about it. They might not remember it. But the Spirit made me remember that one, and that was 12 years ago, right? A long time, according to me, as my son is now an adult. You understand? And that time he was like 10 years old. So I appreciate that fatherly deed that Rasta man had done and brought back my child home to me safely, and was able to let us all, because the two men that caught up with him along with me was able to give him a good lecture as to how dangerous it is for children to be out there on their own, without adult supervision, especially when there are so many little dangers in this world. Um, a lot of people don't think runaways from home is is a is a is like a suicide, because it's like a suicide attempt or it's suicidal, because some parents find back their children, but some parents don't. And if your child run away from home and you don't find back your child, then it's like you have to consider your child dead. Yeah? So it's like your child killed themselves. So when a child run away from home, it is a suicidal attempt if the family or the parents don't find back that child. Right? And it's a lot of naivety that a lot of people don't know that it is a serious offense for children to run away from home or attempt suicide, because it falls into the same category as a life and death scenario. You attempt suicide, some children survive it while some children die in it, right? And it's, I think, on checking my family history, running away from home is a family generational behavior, because as I said, is my grandfather start running from home from I can remember, because he was the one, as I say, he's in an Indian family, full Indian family, and he went outside. Indian culture, they want you to marry within the Indian family. Them, if you're in a man shop, them will say, yes, marry your third cousin, and your ones that marry into your family, then marry them cousin in order to keep their children in the family. So when a child goes outside of the family and go marry into, or not even marry into, but interbreed or do an entanglement with someone who the family does not approve of, like how the Indians would want my grandfather to enter into a relationship to have kids with another Indian instead of a Negro. But instead, my grandfather fell in love with my grandmother, who was an Indian, and produced my mom, who was a Negro, sorry, who was a Negro and produced my mother. And therefore, I think that's where the trend of the runaway spirit comes from. My grandfather was the first to start running away, and then I guess my mom did some kind of running away anytime she was threatened for beatings. Like if they did anything wrong at home, she said dad her dad would say, okay, he would have to spank her, even though he didn't want to spank her. And even though she's never usually spanked from her mom side, her mom's family. She said, her dad would want to spank her, maybe would spank her because she would see other children in the family being hit when they do anything rude. So before she gets spanked, she would run away. So I guess she was doing a little suicidal attempt from running away. The good thing is that she was always found, so therefore her suicidal attempt was not successful. Um, and then, as I said, I had that incident too as a child. It's like, I'm going to run away from home, pack up my bag. My suicide attempt, running away from home, that's what I call the suicide attempt, was not successful because as mom said, okay, you want to run away from home? Because my mom is a smart mother. She know how to deal with children and when they want to run away from home. Here, pack up our bag, let's call the taxi. Let's just sit down outside and wait till the taxi. Sweetheart, I wait for the taxi and the bus and it never come. That means mommy must have never called the taxi. And night come down on me, I had to come and she was like, what happened to you? Never get to run away. I said the taxi or the bus did not come. So I had to come back home. So, since then we have this little history in our family where our kids tend to want to run away from home. But the good thing is once you pay attention to your child with their suicidal attempts, you can save them. You can save them when they run away from home. You can save them when they attempt the suicide. You can save them because you pay attention to them. I guess you nag them all the time. You call on to them all the time. You want to hear a response. If you leave them alone and do not attend to their needs throughout the day, when things are happening, if they're attempting suicide, you won't know that that's what they're doing until in the morning when you look, you realize your child come out and your child dead, you know? Or if you don't go to the room, your child run away and you don't even go into the room to say, hello, where are you, to realize your child is missing, So it is a serious, serious thing, but I was well surprised when I saw that gentleman came into my Father's Day treat by Payaka. It almost brought tears to my eyes. I nearly start bawling because he didn't even know that I even remembered, and he didn't even remember himself because it was just a natural good deed that Rastaman was doing. Maybe he does it for many other people and their children, that he took it as no big deal. But I took it as a big deal because when you're working hard to parent your child and these type of crises hit, it's like you're so scared and frightened. And it scared and frightened me because I'm thinking I'm working so hard to take care of my son and doing all the right things. And here I am still was failing him. And it scared the hell out of me, and I was so thankful when those two gentlemen caught him and brought him home and said, sweetheart, you cannot leave your home without telling your parents where you're going or your mother where you're going, since it's only your mother you live with. Years old, you have to stay home with your parents until you're an adult, which is like maybe age 21. You understand? I know some of them is like 18 and feel them big already. No, your parents still need to know where you're going at 21, 22, 23. Tell your parents where you're going. It doesn't make sense you're trying to run away from home and don't tell them where you're going, because it's going to make them worried. Because if things happen to you out there, what are they gonna do? They're gonna say, well, if I had just paid attention to him, if I had just taught my child or my children to let them know when they're leaving home, when they're going certain places, it's not gonna hurt to say, Mom, I'm gonna go down there, I wanna go over there, or, I'll be okay, keep me in prayers or something like that. But don't just disappear out of the house or just remove yourself just like that and don't inform any of the family members where you're going to. So if something happens and you don't return home within the 24 hours, nobody knows how to account for you or where to go search for you, because things happen. So I'm just saying it was really a big Father's Day surprise of enlightenment to me, to remind me that father does not necessarily have to be biological. A fathering behavior is somebody who um, looks out for others, the youths especially, to make sure that they're okay if they see them around, within your vicinity, and they're not doing right, they're not doing something right. A father figure is someone who would correct them and say, hey, don't do that, that's rude or whatever. I am somebody, I have this mothering instinct, that sometimes when I see the children them on the sidewalk and them fighting, and I'm like, oi, wanna rude, so Tabby, behave. And then they shape up and straighten up themselves. Some of them will say, you're not my mother, what you chat to me for? But it's a mothering instinct, fathering instinct. These are necessary instincts that comes into some human beings, that when you see children doing things that is going to hurt themselves or hurt others, we can't help but open up our mouth and say, behave, don't do that, take care of yourselves. Doing that, you're not going to hurt each other, because we are the adults and we are the parents, and we have that nurturing thing about us as a parent. So guys, happy Father's Day when it comes, and you know, happy Father's Day today, and continue doing your good deed as a father figure. Don't just wait until only when Father's Day is coming you're going to try and make the difference. Make it every day. Just do your part, and God sees and will reward those people accordingly, because God is good and God has been watching over everybody, because it had to be a miraculous spirit that brought that gentleman into my house today and placed him into my garden to remind me of his fatherly deed that he did 12 years ago for me and my son. And I was very touched, emotionally touched by it. And I'm just giving thanks, thanks to the universe, thanks to God, thanks to everybody and everything around me who has made everything possible in my life today to have a happy family and a happy home. It has to be the works of God, it has to be the works of goodness, it has to be the works of good people. And it has to be blessing us as well. A lot of people say that, well, in our conversations today, sharing with some people that, God does not bless people if their parents did wrong. And I'm like, no, God blesses everybody. If we are all enlightened to take care of our own self. So you can't say that if your parents did something wrong, you are going to suffer for it. If you call yourself to know God and you pray to God and ask Him for forgiveness, you are an individual. God judged each one of us individually, not by the wrongdoings of our parent. So as I'm saying, anything can be, because God is the creator, God is the fixer-upper. And as some people were saying, they feel so scared and ready to give up on life because they're saying their parents did wrong, so no good thing can happen to them. yes, good thing can happen to you. Just pray about it, confess about it if you know about it, and ask the Lord for forgiveness, and also ask Him, how can you make it better? You understand? There's also ways of going to church and getting baptized and learning about, godly behavior, and reading your Bible, and doing some scriptural reflection. You'll be surprised turn things around for you in your favor to make life okay. But don't you fear that God has for each and every one of us is we are all entitled to hold ourselves responsible for our behavior. So if you are doing a good deed, believe me, God will reward you according to your deeds that you're doing. Right? You can't just say because your parents sin, I am going to do sinful acts as well. Mm-mm. It doesn't work that way. And it doesn't work that way when you are trying to save somebody who is doing a sinful act either. Because it's each one of us have to save ourselves. Right? Somebody can't save you when you are doing something wrong, right? The only person can save you is God itself. So if you know you're doing something wrong, ask God for forgiveness, pray about it, and say, Lord, strengthen me so that I don't have to be committing this kind of sinful act, because I would like to reap the rewards of your blessings one day and forever, and I need your help so that your will be done in my life, and to cleanse my life, and to give me a chance at this gift of life that you have given to me. But you can't just sit there and marvel into the sins of your parents or other people and say you're deserving of punishment because your parents was, or you're deserving of suffering because your parents did sinful acts. That's ridiculous. Total ridiculousness. Yeah? God judge each one of us individually pertaining to the things and the deeds that we do for ourselves. Right? Each one of us answer to our own behavior, answer for our own behaviors. Right? So just bless up and enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. And every little bit count. Don't think you have to be a totally perfect father, because there's no such thing as a person being perfect in the eyes of another person. You understand? You're perfect because you are what you want for yourself. That's you being perfect. And if you feel that you have to live up to another person's expectation and you can't live up to it, so you might as well just do bad and done, that's not right. That's not right. Because that person continue to live up to their expectation is doing evil to you, because they're putting on pressure onto somebody different and cannot manage to do what they're expect them to do as a father. So therefore, don't you condemn yourself and punish yourself if you cannot live up to other people's expectation of what they expect a perfect father to be. The little deed that you've done, the little bit that you've done is good enough, because the part is that your child knows who you are. You do as much as you feel you can do, and the Lord will do the rest. Or community, the child understands, because people have other responsibilities taken care of. Sometimes some people have, must say, all four different families out there. So you can imagine Father's Day, them going to that one home to spend the time, going to this one home, going to that one home. Them have to share themselves between four different families. The reason being, yes, they set that pace for themselves because maybe they had a weakness, of a sexual weakness, where every woman in a frock, they felt that they had to go have sex with. And then the woman is just as tricky too, because some of them don't want to protect themselves, because some of them say, oh, I get a nice man now to get some money off of, so I might as well breed for him and try hold him to take space, some attention to my kids too. And the cycle keeps going around because each of them is thinking that way. And I'm just saying, you can't feel that a man is going to have a lot of kids out there and then he's going to put all his sole attention to you one. It can't go like that. He has other kids out there, and if they are calling unto him to give him a treat or to celebrate him, then you have to say, Daddy, go and go get your gift and your celebration from your kids, because because you have them, that's why you become a father. And it is their time to give back with you. So there's no woman that should hold on to a child, a man, and say, no, you can't go out there to you get the Father's Day treat from your kids. That's ridiculous. And these are the reasons why some men are having it hard. Some women are just being greedy, want it all. Some of them, I hear some of them is asking now if they can get the Father's Day dinner. They are not single parent of their kids where they're parenting and fathering their child. But at the same time they hear Father's Day treats are going on, and you have some women now they want to come and take the Father's Day treat. I'm like, no, don't you think that is greedy? Not even the Father's Day treat you want them to enjoy, and it's just the one day they get. Do you see fathers coming out on Mother's Day and going to take away the mother's treat for the mothers? No, so why is it you as a woman want to come now and take away a father's treat for himself? That wouldn't be fair. If anything, you should have prepared a treat, something special for him, so that at least if he had nowhere to go, if I wasn't there to put on this treat this time, then you can say, well, at least I did a treat for the man who is showing as a father figure in our society, and it's Father's Day. Why not acknowledge him? So women, you need to think again and reconsider your actions. Some of your actions can be very selfish because you just feel like is you want give birth to your child and not realizing it's a 50-50 relationship, and it is a shared responsibility, and the men needs to put in some of their dues. If they don't put in their dues, then that is their problem. But you shouldn't be the one to block them from paying compensation to their children to show that they love them too, and they support them, and they want the best for them as well. All right. So have a wonderful day now, guys. I'm off later, tired. Work up myself. I'm full of energy, so I always have to do some things to burn up some of it. Energize up. Oh, you should see me play a domino with the guys. You know me when me I give the one love, two love, three love. I'm like, mash it. Ah, win. Then I had to say, no, nah, beat up my man them for Father's Day. Let their day be their day. I know when to sit back and let the fathers enjoy themselves. So why can't some of us women do that too? Enjoy yourself now. Bye.